welcome to the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's episode number 104, season 3, episode 14, which means Happy Pie episode. Whoa!
Oh, I wish I had thought of it and come with some dessert.
I've been waiting for the Pie Day thing all day. I was like, is anybody going to notice? Is anybody going to notice? Is it going to be a big reveal?
It was a big reveal. I did not notice.
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
I'm still stuck on the fact that it's season 3, episode 14, and then overall episode 104, that like the last digits are lining up. 3, 4.
know.
So I was more stuck on that. I did not think of...
I know. It makes it so easy for me to like keep track.
Yes. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm also kind of just like not aware. I guess I don't really think of pie things anyway. Did I tell you guys probably last year and the year before and the year before? Whatever. Couple of years. Anyway, did I tell you guys on the podcast the pie party that I went to?
The one that I know that
the one
you
that
had
not Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Not Thanksgiving.
I don't know.
I went to...
Even if you could tell it again, because I love pie and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I was hanging out with a friend in the Bay Area, actually in San Francisco, to be precise. And he was like, hey, I'm invited to this party. Like, would you guys like to come? So we all went to this party with him. And it was really awesome because they had just like giant table lined on both sides with pies. So there were your savory pies, like chicken pot pie and things like that. And then all sorts of dessert pies. And I was just like, this is the coolest party I've ever been to. Like, what a great idea. Oh, my God. And it wasn't until the next day that I realized, oh, it was March 14th.
I was going to ask if it was,
No idea. I did not make the connection. I was just like, what a good idea, you guys. You really like pies.
I mean, pie is really a year-round thing. Or it should be.
Yeah.
You can have, like, ice cream pie.
Yeah.
I think it should be an all-the-time thing. It's pretty great.
It is pretty delicious.
Anyway.
Now I really want some pie.
Yeah, it is kind of sounding good. I did just eat, but it is sounding good. Chicken pot pie.
This is the hungriest episode ever. Or I guess the one that's making people the hungriest ever.
Yes. I will say I am about to have a drink, and my roommate brought me back beer from Austria when she came back a couple of months ago, and I've been holding on to this, but I decided I would drink it now. So I'm having from Next Level Brewing in Austria, lemon thyme.
Oh my God. Okay, you just
That
reminded
sounds
me.
incredible.
It's
an ale?
Looks delicious.
See, that's the thing. I'm not really sure. I think it's kind of maybe like a
Like a
What
pilsner?
does it say on the side?
like a pilsner. But yeah, it's high on lemon, thyme, coriander, and sea salt.
That sounds incredible. That sounds really, really good.
Yes, it is delicately crisp, tart, slightly acidic, and enormously refreshing. Which I thought was actually kind of perfect when I realized it's a lemon thyme because my name is Shandy, so like lemon flavored beer.
I see.
I don't know if that's what she was going for.
You have a beer type.
Ironically, not usually the kind of beer that I like, but it is my namesake. That's really good.
Yeah.
It is very refreshing and crisp.
Can you taste the sea salt? Does it taste like, does it give it a nice little whatever to it?
I would say my palate is not that developed, but I can certainly taste the lemon. Can't get all the subtleties, but...
You just totally reminded me. So at Costco the other day, there was the Brewers Advent Calendar. Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
And look at this. It has 24 beers, one for each day before December 25th, as Advent calendars go. And okay, so here's the description. In this box, you'll find 24 exclusive imported beers from Germany. All beers in this box are produced following the regulations of the German purity law, dating back to the year 1516. And it has, again, different beers of different BACs, blood alcohol contents, if you will. And I really want it. And I really want it, but it's $65. So I was like, I can't really justify that.
Damn.
But then today I was telling them at work, and we did the math, and we were like, oh my God, that's only like $2.70 a beer. It's like,
But
they're
I was
paying
going
me.
to say, like, is it full-size beers? Like, that actually is probably a fairly decent deal.
Yeah. Well, it has a 16.9 ounce can of premium imported German beer. So, like, a normal beer is what, like 16 ounces? So it's like a normal sized beer.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty close.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me here is that you like beer?
I love beer. I liked beer a lot.
We get through
Sorry,
the
I really like beer. I still like beer, okay?
I know, I just realized that we spent like 5 minutes talking about beer, and it's like, fuck. I mean, yes, we all still love beer.
But
That
this
was my
week,
first
a little less.
comment
A
in
little
PO.
less.
I was the first one to do. You saw it, Shandy. I
I
made
did
the
see
post,
it, and I
was
couldn't
like,
even like it at the time because I was just like, this is too painful. Too
No,
soon.
I was not one. I'm not one to miss a beer joke. Clearly, I was like, I too really like beer. See, we can all come together over our mutual love for drinking too much beer.
I like beer too, and I don't lie about how much I drink.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get into that later because
Also,
been a
just
really
I'm not
long-
applying for a job that requires me to have to be concerned about lying.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, now we can move on.
Funny stories. So yeah, I like beer. I want the beer advent calendar. I need some help pushing me in that direction. But when you do think about how much you're saving, because I'm, potentially going to cut my beer budget for December in half because, I'm having at least one night that I've pre-bought.
One night?
One from the advent calendar.
A night.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
got it now. I'm with you. I'm here.
But anyway, so we were talking about the episodes like 104 and episode 314, and Lost fans, which I'm going to guess are like at least 50% of the people who are listening to this podcast, if not more. We are almost at episode 108, which I feel like that calls for a celebration. So I did the math. Next week, we're probably not going to be recording an episode because Amanda's on vacation, unless this episode goes super long and we decide to like break it in half or something. Stay tuned. But I did the math, excluding next week's episode. Our episode 108 is on Election Day.
Man. Guess election specials are going to kind of become a thing for us, huh?
I don't know.
Seriously.
I don't know. Honestly, full disclosure, I'm not sure if Election Day we should do a live show because it just might be too much.
Yeah. And also, not being a Lost fan, I don't understand the significance of
They equal 108. It's a big deal in Lost mythology, okay? Anyway, if anybody thinks that we should do a live Election Day, and no, in all seriousness, I don't know. If the people demand it, we will be a democracy, and maybe, if we don't overrule it, do the live one.
democracy.
But I'm not
Much
really
like our
sure.
actual country.
Jay and I are volunteering at the polls on October 26th and November 2nd because they do early voting here for a month beforehand.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then because we both really like beer, our shift ends at 1 o'clock on November 2nd, so we're going to this place called Brewery Bavana afterwards to celebrate being volunteers. AKA, we just really like beer.
Cool.
Okay. So wait, I'm a little confused about the beer situation.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make that crystal. Just
I do.
Put the point on it. Good.
I do.
Okay.
But only really IPAs and Belgian blondes.
Fair.
So, I mean,
Everybody's
I like
got a
it.
type.
I do. I have a type.
Yeah, very,
I actually,
bold.
I like hops. Most people say that people don't really like hops. I genuinely like hops. I've always liked hops. I still like hops.
Is that, are you crying?
I like them so much.
Colleen, we're just talking about beer. It's okay.
I was at home with my father this past weekend, and we drank pumpkin ale together. We put cinnamon around the rims of it. And my sister joined in. It was just so much.
Seriously, cinnamon?
Yeah, cinnamon sugar around.
Thing.
It's a thing.
I have been.
That would make me cry too.
It's so good.
This weekend, I have been offered a pumpkin beer, and if I've ordered a pumpkin beer, and the wait person has asked if I want cinnamon sugar on the rim.
Yeah. I also had it several times this weekend, but on the same beer because I kept just like licking my finger and putting more cinnamon sugar around it.
Is there free refills on the sugar?
Oh, there was.
Can you just re-top me off?
I just topped myself off. But yeah, no, I really like beer, like how you guys really like pie. You've always liked pie. You still like pie.
Like pie.
It works.
I actually write it down on my calendar every time I have a particularly good slice of pie.
Listen,
so I can go back years.
Fuck you all in the face because I actually do have all of my calendars since 1999, and I posted a picture to prove it. But I've never gathered around with my still living parent and listened to them read theirs.
Yeah, got more important things to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much put them in the bookshelf and forgot about them.
Yeah.
It's good times. Okay, so this actually ties in kind of nicely. So we were at the airport on Islip on Long Island, and my mom, went in to pick us up, and we're walking out, and they have this little room where they have, I guess, press conferences. And it has like the Department of Homeland Security, logo on there. And I don't know what else they do there. Like it has a podium and whatever. And we're going by and Zachary goes, "Hey, Uncle Trump was there." And I'm like, "What?" And my mom is looking at me suspiciously and I'm looking at her suspiciously. And we're like, what did each other say to him about, what is going on? And we just, he keeps saying like, "Yeah, Uncle Trump, and he lives here too." I was like, I don't know about that. So I was like, where did you hear about that? And then I didn't really push the issue, but he said that he had seen him with us. And I'm like, I don't have cable. So most of the time that we watch the news, it's, I'm thinking I'm like at work or I'm on my phone. Like I can't remember, like imagine where he would have seen it. And then yesterday we're watching John Oliver and I realized that we've definitely watched like Trevor Noah, John Oliver, random things, and Zach has been in the room, and it just goes to show you that they're always paying attention because then when we were in the airport, we had a layover in Baltimore, as you do with Southwest, and there was a magazine or a book or something with Trump on the cover, and Zachary goes, "See, look, there's Donald Trump." And I was like, "How do you know Donald Trump?" And he goes, "He's the president." So then when we got home, I realized that that is how, so they're always listening. So start teaching your kids young. Just remember, whatever you say, they're clearly listening. And it was just one of those moments.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Holy fucking shit.
But he knew first, last name, like recognized that we often see him on TV, like giving a press conference or something. So it was crazy.
That's nuts. I mean, and it really like, it highlights again, like why it's important and why you can start teaching kids about consent at a really young age in age appropriate ways. And they will learn that. And then also why it's just bad in general to see stuff like Trump on TV because of the stuff that he says, like the stuff that came out even just today that's like bullying and terrible, and they are listening.
I actually distinctly remember now there being a press conference or something, and Zach was in the room with me, and it was last year, and I said, "That's Donald Trump, he's our president, and he's a bad person." And I had totally forgotten about that, and it all started to come back to me yesterday. But what you were saying, Shandy, about teaching your kids young, my boss is on the board of directors for Safe Child, which is an organization down here that takes care of like abused children, particularly like sexually abused children. And they have programs where they go into the schools and they teach, or they kind of teach them about consent. And she was telling me the other day that I think now they start their programs at 8, and most experts have told her and the other board directors that starting at 8 years old is too old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not surprised. I actually read an article today about like things to do at each sort of like age and stage of child's development. It was really interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
really start them young, but in like age appropriate ways.
Right.
Yeah. Does anybody else? How have you guys' weeks been? Y'all, you folks' weeks been?
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
So busy.
I know.
I had a very eventful weekend.
Tell us about it.
So I had like 5 different house guests this weekend.
Oh, wow.
It kind of felt like we were running an Air BnB, and it was awesome. It was super fun.
Nice.
A friend of mine that used to live here in the city that has since moved to Austin was in town for a show. He was playing, he just released an album a little bit ago. Devin Mulvaney, look him up on iTunes.
Yeah.
Really, really great music. Dream pop is the genre, just really awesome. So I had a few friends from out of town that came in for that. And yeah, so they all stayed over and then they left. We changed the sheets on the air mattress. I went out to Connecticut for a housewarming party for another friend. And Daniel's friend from Ohio came in to stay over Saturday night.
Nice.
Because Daniel and his friend flew out to Europe on Sunday night.
Ooh, we're in Europe.
That's right.
So they, I leave for Europe on Thursday. I'm going to Stockholm with a childhood friend of mine is studying abroad there. And so another childhood friend, we're going to visit her. And it's kind of like this girls trip. So when we were planning the trip, I kind of told Daniel, I'm like, hey, like you kind of can't come, but I recognize that if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be hella mad that you're going off on this awesome trip to Europe that I can't come on. So the compromise was that like, well, you can't come to Stockholm, but maybe let's like meet up in Copenhagen or something and you can go do your own thing and we'll meet up there. So he took that idea and ran with it. Like he planned himself an amazing trip. So they flew into Prague and they're going to be there for a couple days. Then they're going to go do 5 days in Munich and stay with a friend of theirs from high school. And they're going to go to Oktoberfest and they're going to like tour all around Munich.
Wow.
And then he's going to come meet me and my friend in Copenhagen and his friend's going to fly home. But yeah, he's gone for a full 2 weeks.
Wow.
I'm like living it up. I'm pretty jealous. Well, I guess jealous is kind of the wrong word, huh? Because I'm kind of going to do something cool too. I guess happy for him and mildly. With tinged with a little bit of jealousy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw his Facebook status when he was leaving, and I had this moment of like, but, and then I figured that you must be like,
yeah. Well, and
not
I made
leaving
the joke
at the same time.
I made the joke that's like totally not what you're supposed to do when you travel. Don't they say like don't announce on social media that you're going somewhere because that's like inviting the people to come and like rob your house?
Yeah, but it depends, I would suppose, like who you're friends with on Facebook.
That's true.
I
don't know. He's friends with some nefarious
well, like if your profile isn't public,
Right. I was like, oh no, I'm going to come get kidnapped. You've told everyone I'm home alone.
But I love being able to check in at the airport and have the little thing where it shows the plane flying to the place, and you're like,
actually do that.
Here.
Really?
That's like my jam.
Oh my!
I might start doing it because I do love it on other people's feeds.
Yes.
I'm like, just feels like an event.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Well, I mean, it is an event.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of
an event that you are including us in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it when you leave if you really want to tell everyone that your apartment is now completely empty.
Yep. Just the cat will have to fend for himself. All right.
What is the cat going to do? Is he going to your parents?
No, we get a pet sitter.
Pet sitter.
Yeah.
Everything is squared away with the pet sitter from the past?
Yeah, everything. We're paid up. It's on the books. It's confirmed. All the days. Like, we should be okay. I hope so.
Good time.
Cat.
Yeah. How about you, Shandy? What's going on in your world?
Not too much. Just like, watching the news, doing some running. About it. I finished my 8-week meditation class.
Oh, and
it was great. And she's like continuing, and there are some other sessions that I can go to. So I'm excited about that.
Good job.
God, I felt like there was something I meant to share, and now I just can't even remember. I don't know.
It wasn't about beer. It wasn't pie. Pie. We've covered pie.
Covered pie.
I still love pie since the beginning of the show.
Definitely.
Yep.
Chicken pot pie. I'm up to date on The Good Place. So
Nice.
From last time we spoke, I have finished all 2 seasons in 1 episode.
Wow.
And I started Jane the Virgin last night, and I really love it.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Oh, I'm so excited to talk with you about it.
Yeah. I watched 2 episodes, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go to bed now, but I really want to watch more. But I was good, and I went to bed.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Matt
like
is,
a show you really fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
all we have to do is watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and Matt is going to be like so excited.
At this point, I feel like we kind of owe it to Matt.
Yeah, the 6th of Broad. Yes, we do.
I did start Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, to be fair, and I have gone to West Covina twice, so I feel like, you know, I watched a couple of episodes and I wasn't sold on it.
Fair.
Oh! I also finished Dear Madam President.
Oh, yes.
And?
Oh, my
Thank
God.
you,
You and I
Mandy.
both had weird stories about
Oh,
older
that's
people.
right. That's what happened. That's what happened. I went to a cafe over the weekend to read that book, and I was sitting there reading by myself, like book open, nose in book, and this old dude came over and like totally interrupts my reading, tells me that like he's Russian and he wrote this poem and he really wants feedback from a native speaker. And I was I was so torn because what I ended up telling him was like, I'm in the middle of reading my book. And then I immediately texted the broadcast to be like, am I a total fucking jerk? But like, here's the thing. The reason I felt bad is because he was old. But I was annoyed that like, why do I owe him my time? I'm very obviously in the middle of doing something else.
I had a thought after we talked about that. But
Oh, okay. Because then, so I'm like sitting there trying to read. And that's the other thing that was annoying was then it totally brought me out of the book. And I didn't get much reading done after that because, of course, I'm like in my head, I'm going back and forth like, am I an asshole? Am I not an asshole? Should I have said it? Should I go up and tell him that now I'll listen? Should I not? Like, am I correct? Just like going back and forth and just like kind of annoyed at the whole situation. Then old guy gets up and goes to the woman sitting at the table right next to me, who's also sitting there reading a book, like very visibly just by herself doing her thing,
yeah.
Interrupts her and asks her, and she turned around too. And I was like, okay. I'm feeling a little bit more like vindicated about my choice. Then he eventually went to another table and they were, it was 2 people. So at least it wasn't just like, so with this other woman, she was probably about my age-ish. So I'm like, okay, he's going up to like the 30-something like women by themselves. Like,
right,
that's
right.
also really annoying.
Yeah.
The third table he went to was like a middle-aged couple. I think it was a man and a woman. But they were like just about to leave. And so they're like, sorry. So poor guy, like part of me, he was like this cute old man, but like at the same time, like, fuck.
So I was going to ask,
Yeah.
did you feel bad because he had that kind of like lonely vibe to him? Like my wife just died and I'm lonely, or?
No, he was sitting at a table with his wife who herself was reading a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Why couldn't he
But she
just
was
ask
not
his
their
wife
wife.
for poetry help?
Well, I mean, maybe she was Russian also.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's like, Harold, I've heard your poetry way too many times.
He was looking for a non-biased opinion.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Vladimir, go take your poetry
I like how you
elsewhere.
went with Harold, though.
I know.
I think it's a solid old man name. I like it.
Yeah, that is weird. I hadn't run in with an elderly lady today, but I don't want to jump on your story.
Oh.
I just wanted to transition.
Oh, I'm done. I want to hear about your elderly lady. See, that's the thing, because I'm also, again, overthinking, but also just, I don't know. Yeah, overthinking. I just overthink things. But because I was sitting there thinking, if this was an elderly woman, I would have much more likely just, like, found some patience and been like, sure, whatever.
Right. But was he rude about it or pushy or just, like, weird?
No, he wasn't rude. He wasn't pushy, but like, I'm in the middle of reading. Why are you interrupting me?
Did he tell you to take off your headphones? Put down
He
your
would
book.
have.
Is this yours? Take off your
Right, but it's the
headphones.
same concept.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. I went there to read. Like, I don't know. And there were other people who were like on their phones. Go interrupt them. I don't know. Or like find.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go to a different kind of place. I'm not really sure what the answer is.
Right.
Yeah.
Was
But
it one of those cafes where they've got like a little post-it board where you can like put messages and stuff? Like maybe he just needs to put up an ad, like looking for English speaker to read an old Russian man's poetry.
Yeah.
Well, and like the thing is also there is a different bookstore in town. Admittedly, not in the same neighborhood, but there's a different bookstore in town that has like weekly like poetry consortiums, and like you can go and like they'll have somebody like running like a free little workshop. So if I would have thought of it, I should have just like written that down.
Yeah, I written that down for him.
Told him as I was leaving, like, hey, you should check this out.
Right.
But, like,
and he's probably
maybe next time. Maybe you'll run into him again.
Yeah, you might. I mean, just hang out at the coffee shop again.
Yeah.
But I mean, more than that too. So there's like not the rage. Rage is too strong of a word, but there's like the annoyance of just like, this was not the week for men to interrupt me when I'm reading. Like, so
is there ever a week for men to interrupt you, Shandy?
No, but definitely this week for sure not. And like less than normal. Like honestly, in my heart of hearts, did I want to listen to his poetry and give him my feedback? No. Even if it was some like super like hot dude, like do I want like no, I was reading my book and I was engrossed in my book. Like I don't want to.
I think that's fair.
You know?
Yeah,
that's absolutely fair.
Yeah,
thank you. That makes me feel better.
Right, and I think it's unfortunate that like it kind of ruined your experience.
Yeah.
You know, for no fault of your own, because you're a considerate person. That then you
went back and forth trying to.
Then I overthought this
and to question yourself and whether or not you did the right thing. And like, that sucks.
Yeah. No, then I'm like, what would Frank do? Because Frank's like so nice. Like he would have found a way to be like, sure. But it's not.
Don't
like,
even go down that path. It's over and done with.
Stop with the shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you remember this story, and this is about a rude elderly gentleman. I screen capped and sent it to you. A woman that I work with. She was in line at the bagel store one morning, and she had an elderly gentleman tap her on the shoulder and say, "Young lady, do you mind if I cut in front of you? I'm trying to make my tea time." And she goes, "Yes, sir, I do mind. I'm trying to make it to my job on time."
Love it.
Yeah, which I love that story.
Yeah.
But
seriously, like, who do you think you are?
Yeah. My old lady story was, and I feel bad like we're picking on the old people today. We're not. We love old people. We've always loved old people. We still love old people.
Oh, that's what made me like so hesitant about not knowing how to feel, was because he was old.
Yeah. Well, so we do our luncheons every month at a place in town that's run by, from what I understand, women who are of the older demographic. So like Southern Real Housewives, old money.
Like DAR.
Yeah, DAR kind of thing. Okay, yeah.
And like the Gilmores.
Yeah, like the. So I had a program that I was putting on today after the luncheon, and it was just me around, and I asked one of the wait staff there if I could find a place to pump. And she was so sweet, because it turns out I asked the right person. She had an 11-month-old, so she's still pumping herself, and she asked if I could use the office I don't know whose office it was, somebody's office. She asked if I could use that for 20 minutes and put this little sign out on the back that said, "Please allow 20 minutes to pump milk. Baby has to eat too. Thanks." And she drew, can you see the two little boobies she drew on there?
No, but I love it.
But I trust you that it's amazing.
I'll send it to you later. So she drew like two little boobies on it and a smiley face. So,
Aww, that's really sweet.
Thinking that there's nothing wrong with that, thank you so much. So I go in this office and I'm pumping, and I'm maybe 6 or 7 minutes in, and there's a knock on the door, and I'm like, I'm still going to be a couple of more minutes. And I hear a very annoyed voice go, Fine, it's fine. I'll come back later. And I'm like, okay, thinking that now one of the women that we deal with who is one of the bosses or something there. She had kind of a rough day because they were not prepared for us for our program, and I needed things from them like another microphone and a table set up. So she was and the tables bust quicker than they were doing. So she was all flustered that like whatever. So I'm already thinking, oh my God, it's this lady trying to get in, and she probably literally wants to kill me right now. Because now I've not only like interrupted the lunch that she was trying to eat like 3 separate times asking for things, but now I'm that person that's, in the office that she needs something from. So I feel kind of bad, but I go back to my business, and I'm like, come on, girls, pump faster. Somebody needs to get in here. And another 3 or 4 minutes go by, and there's another knock, and it's like, I'm really sorry, sweetie, but I need to get in there. So would you mind if I just come in anyway? And I'm like,
are you kidding me?
Well, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? But at this point, I'm like, all right, fucking bring it. Like, I guarantee you're going to be more uncomfortable when you walk in here and see me pumping than I am going to be at you coming in and watching me pump. I was like, cool, sure, whatever. So I have a little sweater on. I get up to open the door and I cover myself because, I don't know who else is in the hallway. And, I sit back down, and it's this little old lady not even little old lady, it's this elderly lady that comes in. And I took a picture because I thought nobody was going to believe me. And she's like, I just really need to get the key. And she walks around looking for a key to someplace. She never finds the key. She takes a good 90 seconds to a minute. 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes looking like all around this office. She can't find the key. And finally she's like, fine, sorry I wasted your time. And I can't find it. And then she shuts the door, but she doesn't even shut the door the whole fucking way, which I also took a picture of. So I'm like,
and it's not like you're like mobile in your
exactly. Like I had to turn it off and unplug to open the door, and then I went right back, and I was just like,
oh my God,
bring it on. Yeah. So she doesn't even shut the door the whole way. And you could tell that it was one of those doors where you had to, like, it got a little stuck, so you had to, like, twist the thingy so it would shut. But she didn't even bother to do that. Like, she just closed it behind her and, didn't even, when it caught, she didn't even try to, like, pull, like, a second time to be courteous about it.
Jesus Christ, like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was my story.
What is going on in her mind?
I don't know.
So crazy.
I don't know, but I was very much like, okay. And I should have uncovered and like been like full up, like, watch the milk come out and feel bad. But she wouldn't have felt bad.
Well, it's not for nothing. Like,
entitlement
it seems like the woman that told you could go in there, like, checked to make sure it was okay. So it's not like you're just like, I'm going to be in this room and everyone can just wait for me.
Mm-hmm. And then she was so apologetic at the end. And I was like, don't feel bad. Like, you did your part. You let me in there. But anyways, like it was my moment of like, are you for real right now? Like you couldn't even find the key. So wherever you went to look for the key after you left the office, you couldn't look there first and then look in the office.
Oh my God.
I hope it wasn't like in her pocket.
Probably was. Let's be honest. So cool. All right. Should we move on? I don't know if you guys want to do the Yahoo Answers article or if you want me to
I feel like
pull
you've been talking this up. I'm pumped for it.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's get started with this. We could get through this pretty quickly, but it's pretty funny. So here we go. And I have gone through and selected certain ones. Now, everybody heard the example that I gave last week, which is, here's the question. I swallowed an ice cube whole and I haven't pooped it out. I'm really scared. Is it stuck? Okay. So we have some pretty silly ones like that one. So here's this one is, are skeletons real or made up? My friend's mom says that she was once chased by a skeleton, but I don't think skeletons are real. Please help me.
Whoa.
And here's two back to back that kind of ping each other. Okay, that ping each other, kind of gel together. Question: how am I sure I'm the real mom of my kid? I just had a baby, and it looks more like the man I had my baby with. It doesn't look like me at all, and I'm scared that he was cheating on me with another lady, and I had her kid. This child is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't imagine giving my baby to the real mom. How do I know?
Did they just watch Jane the Virgin?
The second question, different person. I don't know if my daughter is mine. I don't know if my daughter is mine. I gave birth to her, but I'm not sure if it's my boyfriend cheating on me and I had his other girlfriend's baby. Can someone help?
Oh.
Oh.
So there's that.
Public
The state of
education.
education.
Yeah.
My brain went there too.
Yep.
Oh, this is
Next
why we
question.
need health in school. Sex ed.
Uh-huh.
Are there any autographs of Jesus Christ? I know there are autographs of Babe Ruth, of John Lennon, and of George Washington. Are there any autographs of Jesus Christ that are either on eBay or in people's houses?
Actually, probably in some church somewhere, there's like a quote-unquote relic of Jesus' autograph or something.
Well, my boss
close
was
to
like,
that.
the Shroud of Turin is probably the closest you're going to get. And I'm like, oh my God, we talked about that on the show. It all comes full circle. The next question, and there's no, it's just the one question. How do I unbake a cake?
Oh, if you could figure that out, you'd be a...
Well, I think you eat it, and then your digestive system unbakes it.
My coworker was like, you throw it in the
Melts it.
garbage. Next question. Can I safely look at a picture of the sun? I know it's bad to look at the sun, but what if I took a picture of it with my phone? Will it still ruin my eyes?
Yep. 100%.
Ask Trump. I don't know.
Yep. 100%. Very dangerous.
Oh, let's see. The next one I have here is it illegal to kill an ant? Today I was walking down the street and there was an ant on a puppy, so I stepped on the ant and killed it. A police officer gave me a very dirty look, and so did a lot of other people around, so I was wondering if it was illegal to kill an ant. I'm super serious. This isn't a joke.
An ant on a puppy?
Yes, so basically, whoever this is stepped on the dog to kill the ant, got dirty looks, and wants to know if it's illegal.
I think maybe that's where the dirty looks are coming from.
Yeah.
The puppy.
Well, I will say, like, the idea of wondering if it's illegal to kill an ant is kind of really sweet.
That is.
It is, but that's
But
not
then the
where...
kid probably went to McDonald's. And,
Well-
like,
Well, that's because isn't it like there's a fine for like killing praying mantis?
Yeah, because they're
Mantis, or is
endangered
that
or
a-
something.
Okay, maybe they were confusing an ant and a praying mantis.
Yeah. Maybe they're just confusing the
both
dirty
bugs.
looks from kicking a puppy.
Right, or that. that is a possibility as well.
This one's one of my favorites. Do you think NASA invented thunderstorms to cover up the sound of space battles?
Oh my God, I hope
definitely.
I thought that they invented it to cover up the sound of God bowling.
so. I thought it was God bowling.
right.
It is. Oh, that's to cover up the sound of the thunderstorms.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, so we're not scared. Is The Hunger Games based on a true story? I was watching The Hunger Games. Is it true? Like, did it happen to Nazis after World War One?
After World War One?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, World War Two. It does say World War Two.
Okay. From what I read, the author kind of got the idea from watching Survivor.
Yes, I've read that
So it
too.
kind of was based on a true story.
Next question. If evolution is true, then why hasn't my dog turned into an elephant?
Oh, honey.
Just gotta keep waiting.
How to turn computer monitor into mirror. Hi, does anyone know if it's possible to use a background that would essentially turn my computer monitor into a mirror? Scanning a mirror doesn't work.
Oh my God.
That's just the end.
People are amazing.
People are amazing.
Oh,
Okay.
The ingenuity of trying to scan a mirror.
Yes. Gotta give them that.
Critical thinking all the way.
Yeah. Do you think it would break the mirror? Do you think the mirror would be too thick?
Not if you put it on like a Xerox scanner.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But no, it wouldn't go through.
Maybe that's why it didn't work.
All right. Here we go. 60 seconds and 1 minute aren't really the same.
Sure.
This is a bit of a random question, but the answer has been bugging me for a long time. Okay, so, ... On a microwave, if you push 60, it will cook for 60 seconds or 1 minute. Following me? ? And if you also press 1 minute, it will cook for 1 minute or 60 seconds, right? Right?
Whichever comes first.
Yep.
Whichever comes first. Well, my question is, if you add 1 minute plus 1 minute, it is 2 minutes, right? So your food will cook for a total of 2 minutes. But if you add 60 seconds and 60 seconds, it will only cook for 1 minute and 20 seconds, even though 60 seconds is 1 minute. I know, confusing question. I guess to put it in simple terms, how come 1 minute plus 1 minute equals 2 minutes, but 60 seconds plus 60 seconds only equals 1 minute and 20 seconds?
You know, to be fair, when I was a child, like before I learned how to tell time, I thought that I was kind of confused about that same concept. Like I really thought that a minute was 100 seconons.
Oh.
It's, you know, let's go on metric.
But
I'm
you
talking
were also
a very
a
small
child.
Yes. Yes.
Not what I'm presuming is a grown-up using the microwave. Again, that education thing.
Yep.
We're almost done here. Is it possible to make toast in a microwave? Please, I am craving toast and at work. That's it.
Well, I suppose it depends. Do you want warm bread or do you want crispy bread? Because if you just want the bread to be warm, then yeah, throw it in the microwave.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
If you want it to be crispy, no.
No, don't put it in the microwave.
All right, here's one for the cat lovers out there. Why does my cat vibrate? Her chest is always vibrating like she has worms or something in her. Is it normal? When she vibrates, she makes a tiny vibrate noise, and it's scaring me because it doesn't sound normal.
Tiny vibrate noise.
A vibrate noise like she has worms.
Like she has worms.
Oh, yeah, take her to the vet. That does not sound normal.
That does not sound right at all. If Batman's parents are died, sick. If Batman's parents are died, then how was he born? It doesn't make sense how died parents can have children. Did they work this through?
See, that's a little kid writing that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Next one is, do you guys think that if Michael Jackson hadn't died, he would still be alive today?
I don't know.
Actually, no, I get that. Like, if he hadn't died when he died,
would he still be alive today?
A few years later, would he?
Right.
Not even a few years
later. Would he have died of something else?
Yes. In the interim,
later. Yeah.
Would he be alive in 2018? That's actually a good question.
That is actually interesting. What do you think?
A question to ponder.
I feel like he might have died anyway.
I think so too.
He might have died anyway.
I think so too.
I think, if you're messing around with those kind of IV
fentanyl
fluids,
killed a lot of people.
Yeah, like I think, it might have been a time bomb, as they say, unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Oof, that got dark.
I know. Okay, we're gonna bring this right back.
One more.
We have 3 more, and then the grand finale. Okay, and we've gotten through this pretty quick. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah.
Can I tell by the smell of my husband's gas if he's been cheating on me? Hubs usually has his own smell. Oh, I know this sounds crazy, but Hubs usually has his own smell. The family always knows when he's past gas, even if he tries to be funny and blame it on the dog. Lately, he's had to work late a few times, and each time he's come home and his gas has smelled unlike anything I've ever smelt from him. Kind of like maybe he had Thai food or something. He says that he'd only been at work and not anywhere else, but something is definitely different. Do you think he's cheating?
Yeah, he's cheating on you with Thai food.
Yeah, maybe he just had Thai food at work. Next one is, how many calories are in a booger? I always pick my nose and eat my booger. It's addicting. How many calories are in a tiny roll of booger? It's sometimes wet and the color yellow.
That's so gross, but also so fair. It's coming from within your body, so
I feel like it's negative.
Calories.
Yeah.
Right. Is it calorie free?
So now we have celery and boogers.
I also think boogers are probably too small to register.
That's true. Not even a point on Weight Watchers in any volume.
That is atrociously disgusting. Sorry to any of the listeners who may eat their boogers. That's really gross.
Well,
I draw the line at booger eating.
It's the level of description that I think We didn't need to know the color. Step too far.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This one is your random one. How do you get spaghetti stains out of underwear? I had gotten spaghetti stains in my underwear, my white cotton underwear. I have spaghetti stains in my white cotton underwear.
Oh man, how are you eating pasta?
Something is wrong.
In their underwear. Bleach it, dude.
All right, this next one is our grand finale, and I'm going to warn you all right now. It is fucking gross. So
grosser than eating boogers?
Grosser than eating boogers.
I think that is like so way up there for me.
This is your warning, okay? Like, this is your warning.
Okay.
If you don't like that, just skip ahead a couple of minutes. Because I'm going to warn you now that this one's gross. But I can't give you the subject matter because it will pretty much ruin the story.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Did I turn my boyfriend into a vampire? Again, now that you have somewhat of an idea of what this could be about, skip ahead if you have a queasy stomach. Here we go.
I'm already less grossed out than the boogers.
Just wait.
Let's see.
Okay, so I have a new boyfriend. Yay! And we have been seeing each other for about a month now. Anyway, the other night, we had a Twilight marathon. I love Twilight. And a dream of mine is to have a vampire boyfriend. I've been experimenting with eating my own blood ever since the Twilight books first came out. I consider myself to be a vampire now. I usually just save the blood I lose naturally each month. I usually just keep the tampons in the freezer, etc. And I suck on them or eat them later.
Oh, no.
I decided that I would try and turn my new boyfriend. So I've been cooking my blood into his food when he comes over.
Oh my God.
I've tried making blood pudding as well. But that only worked if you've had a heavy flow. You need a lot of blood.
Oh, God.
So I usually just add a little bit of blood into the marinade or pasta sauce, etc., etc. And he has absolutely no idea. I feel like this is an assault on him.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
This is really...
It is.
I've been doing this for about 3 to 4...
learn how to cook.
Put the garlic in, not the period blood.
Right.
This is a cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 weeks. Do you think he would be a vampire right now?
Okay, so first of all, this person is not a very good Twilight fan because if they were, they would know that this is not how you turn someone.
Yeah. I love blood. I've always loved blood. I still love blood. No, doesn't work. I mean,
no,
it
doesn't
works.
have the same effect.
Have you ever had so much blood that you couldn't remember what happened or part of what happened?
I don't know. Have you?
Sorry, I should have told you earlier that my dad was a bloodaholic.
Oh, okay.
That would have made the
makes
whole
sense.
thing.
Makes
That
sense.
would've- yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Sorry for bringing up a traumatic time for you.
No. Now,
Sorry
I
that
do
we love that.
I do monitor my blood on a calendar. My blood flow on a calendar to keep track. So really, it all does come full circle.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
Yeah.
That is a doozy.
I know the thing is, some of these I'm sure are probably made up to troll, but I feel like that one is 100% true.
But here's my thing with that one. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I am going back and forth between like, did a woman write that or did a man write that as a woman from a place of his own fear and mistrust of women and periods?
No, I'm just going to go with a woman wrote that and it's really gross.
Yeah.
I'm not going too deep. We're going to get deep in a minute. I'm not going too deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get too deep into the blood.
That gives too much credit where perhaps it's not due.
Yeah.
Oh man, that poor boyfriend though. He needs to run,
He needs to run.
but he doesn't even know. Oh my God.
Actually, don't back out slowly so you can keep an eye on her.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Don't turn your back.
Don't turn your back on that one.
Because otherwise she might try to put a stake through you.
Yeah. Just pelt you with garlic.
Oh my God, that's right. See, that's why she didn't put the garlic in the sauce.
She's a vampire.
She's a vampire.
It would melt her.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what happens? I don't know.
I think it would just kill her. I don't know. I'm not a vampire or a Twilight fan.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched Buffy. I can't remember.
Good times.
In Twilight, garlic doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
And neither does sunlight. So, like, they're
right. These modern day vampires have adapted.
Did it make them sparkly?
It makes them sparkle, but it doesn't make them, like, die.
Yeah.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright. All right. Well, I hope that was just as lived up to all the hype, because I gave it a lot of hype.
That was great. It totally lived up to it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Watch out for those that... Also, we also missed the fact that she fucking licks her tampons like a bloody lollipop.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. All right, moving on to some Facey Back. Actually, first we have a Second Assault update. Second Assault was accepted to even more festivals. They are going to be at the Bushwick Film Festival in Brooklyn, the Tallgrass Film Festival in Wichita, Kansas, and a screening at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica. So, yay!
Very cool.
Nice. I'm going to try and hit up the one in Brooklyn. So, any listeners in the area, hit me up. We can all go together.
Yay!
Oh, man.
Moving on. So JP says in regards to this is in regards to the broadcast player story from last week. JP says, I'm polishing 3 Tonys after listening. Thank you very much. Mike says Johnny Libertarian is copyrighted and he'll be expecting royalties. Which actually Nick texted me and was like, do I know Johnny Libertarian? And I was like, calm down, Nick. It's not you. It's not all about you. Christy said it was totally drugs. She knew she could score there. Drugs. So she agreed with you, Amanda.
Yeah.
And then Dennis with the win. Vagina. And then not 1, but 2 tongue faces.
Oh, that's what that emoji's called? A tongue face?
I have no idea what that it's called. I'm calling it tongue face.
In this instance,
in this context, yes.
In the vagina instance, it is tongue face.
In the vagina instant, it is tongue face.
Well played, Dennis. That made me laugh a lot when I saw it. And then Matt posted a link to not The Simpsons, American Dad, one of those, and she was reading penis.
I was scared to open it, so I did not click on the link.
I didn't either.
Cool. Well, that's what it was. Matt said that your response to my feedback was definitely xenophobic, and then Mike was like, "Well, actually."
Nicely done.
All right, and then let's get into some Matt's what she said. I wanted to get out of there at a decent time so I could do things like go to sleep. Fair. I have not gotten more than 3 hours a night. I know you think it's a mess in here, but I know that everything that's in here and where it is. That was my office, and that's still true. It's so tiny and easy to travel with and beautiful and great, and I don't need it for a ton of things.
Oh,
that's great.
God, what was that?
I don't know.
Oh, my computer!
Your computer! There you go.
Oh!
Not a vibrator, not what you're
saying. You could practically put that in your pocket.
Also not a vibrator.
Again, it's super tiny and I love it. It's great. It's probably going to be a few minutes for me to get through this. But my coworker was like, do it. And then I closed my door to pump and I kind of did it. Yeah, I did. And then an old lady walked in. We had like 1,400 of them, and there was like 3 of us. Still true. We were finishing up with our 3rd coworker, 3rd, 4th, whatever. We're very excited about this. Do you want to do all the parts? It can be a one-man show. Yes, it can be.
It can. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
One could theoretically do that 3 times a day. I mean, yes, they could. Easier if you're a woman. I can't pull off most of them. And we get a double tonight. We get it twice.
Nice.
Good times. All right, and then we're going to move on to But Her She-Mails. We have 2 voicemails from Desiree. We have an Annie's Virginity, and we have a couple of requests to talk about Brett Kavanaugh. So, do we want to start with Desiree's voicemail, or do we want to start with the Kavanaugh thing?
I think we could sandwich it.
Yeah.
Start with Desiree's voicemail.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Let's
then slide into the really serious stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. It will be like Desiree Pie. Like, she's the
Desiree
crust
Pie.
and the whatever, and we're like the warm
For the pie
inside.
episode.
The warm, mushy inside.
That's what she said.
All right. Let me cue this up then.
Hey, Amanda, Colleen, and Shandy. This is Des and Astrid. Hello. Calling to leave some feedback. I think I'm an episode behind because it's Saturday morning, and I'm pretty sure an episode came out yesterday, so I'm behind. But whatevs, I can't keep up. Everything's just crazy. But anyways, I want to say, Colleen, I was sure that you guys had several listeners named Jana, because you're right. Every time you say Jana, Janice, and Janet, they all sound like Jana. So I thought there were several Janas. Anyway, so that was funny. I also, you talking about Zach getting shots and Alex getting shots, it's funny. I've always been a big wuss when it comes to shots, and when I was a little kid, they used to have to hold me down, to do shots. I guess I have, a needle phobia. I still have it, and whenever I have to get blood drawn or anything, it feels like the needle in my skin is like burning my skin, and I'm 90% sure that's all in my head because, I'm scared of the needle and I don't want it in me, so I'm pretty sure it's not actually hurting me. I just feel it hurting me because, a little shot. And poor Gavin takes after me with the shots when he was little. Even to this day, like 18 years old, and he still doesn't want to go get shots. He'll have, get all upset and say, no, I don't think I'm going to do it. No. But when he was little, he used to hide in the corner of the doctor's office and like kick at people and say, no. So yeah, that was always fun. We've had to hold him down before. Now, Astrid just got the last shot she got. She had to get the finger stick, to test for lead, and a shot. So she was sitting on my lap, and he did the finger stick, and she was just looking at it, watching him squirt the blood into the little thing. And then as she was just sitting there, he's like, okay, she's sitting here so good, let's just go ahead and do it. So he just gave her the shot, and she just cried for a second, and then she got a sticker, and she was fine. So yeah, she was no problems. I'm glad she doesn't take after me with the shot thing. Yes, Band-Aid. Yeah, you got a Band-Aid. But the funny thing about Gavin when he was a kid is, you think Zach's melodramatic. Gavin was the most melodramatic kid ever. If he said, like, he hurt his leg or something, or if he got a shot or something, he would drag himself around the house by his arms. And he wasn't 3 or 4. He was like 7, 8 years old. He would grab his skateboard and sit on it and pull himself around the house because his leg hurt or whatever. It was so ridiculous. We would laugh about it all the time. Anyways, I also wanted to, I'm sorry, this is already 3.5 minutes in, but I was calling to recommend some female-driven media. Last night, me and my husband and Gavin watched a movie on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix original. It's French, so Shandy will not need subtitles, but the other two of you will. But it's called I Am Not an Easy Man, and it's about this man who's a bit of a chauvinist pig, and he hits his head, and then he wakes up, and then the world is, like, reversed, like he's in a different world or whatever, and the women are the ones who are in control. It's like the matriarchy, where the men have to groom themselves for the women and everything.
Oh my God,
and
that's like Steve Bannon's worst nightmare.
It's somewhat of a comedy, but it's also kind of serious. It was written and directed by women, and I think they did a great job of nailing all the bullshit, the microaggressions and the stupid shit like grooming yourself, like like he had his chest hair, right? His friend waxed it for him, and of course they did a landing strip on his chest. And to me, that was just the most ridiculous, because I mean, it's stupid enough on a vagina, it's stupid on a chest too. But the things that we have to do for men, and it were the things that the men had to do for women, and it was really quite interesting, and I'm glad I watched it with my husband and my 18-year-old son. Gavin liked it. He did. He thought it was kind of good. My husband, I don't think he liked it as much as I did, or as much as Gavin did, because I think it kind of upset him a little bit. But I mean, he's in his 40s, and he's been around in this world for so long that institutionalized sexism is a thing, and it's like, but I think men should watch it because it really gives you an idea of the ridiculous shit women go through and how sucky it is to not be an equal human. It's so ridiculous, and I don't think most men realize what it's like for women. A lot of the stuff, they're like, well, that's just the way that is. They don't think, oh, it's because men did it this way, So I think men should watch it, and I think it'll make them uncomfortable, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm still pondering the ending. I'm just kind of thinking about it. It's, I don't know. I don't think there was enough to the ending for me, but other than that, I really enjoyed the movie. My husband's still talking about it this morning, which is good. So I definitely recommend it. Everybody should watch it. And I look forward to, if you guys watch it, discussing it on the show. Anyways, that's all I have. Yeah, I'm already 6.5 minutes in. I'm sorry it's so long, but it's been so long since I've had a chance to call in and tell you guys anything, that I had saved it all up for now. Anyways, love you guys, love the show. Talk to you later. Bye.
So I actually listened to that voicemail last week.
Yeah.
And because I did, I watched the movie I'm Not an Easy Man.
Ooh.
So thank you for the recommendation. I don't want to give too much away. I think it is a really fun and interesting movie to watch. It's on Netflix, so I would definitely recommend it to everyone. But there are a couple of things that I think I can say without giving away too much. Okay. First of all, the ending, I know what you mean, Des, and I think in part it could just be a thing where I would say in general, French movies don't feel the need necessarily, this is obviously a blanket statement, to come to the same sort of level of resolution and tying everything up with a bow that American movies do. So maybe it's partially that, but I get what you're saying. The example that she gave with the chest hair and the landing strip, it was hilarious because it really does just very visually point out this is a fucking ridiculous thing that women are expected to do. And the landing strip, it's so dumb. And when you see it on a chest, it's yeah, that looks really fucking ridiculous, because that just like it does on a on a pussy. But another thing, again, this is just a little anecdote to give you guys a little taste and maybe whet your appetite. But before he shaves his chest, he goes home with someone, and the woman basically rips open his shirt and sees his hairy chest and is like, oh, sorry, dude, I just, I can't, it's just, it's not clean, and she ends up going home, and he's just kind of dumbfounded, what the fuck? But I thought that was pretty interesting, and my roommate happened to be in the room at during that scene, and she was like, but does that actually ever happen? I don't know, I mean, I think usually men are just sort of happy to be there when they get there, but I do think that, and actually I know of examples, of people that I know in real life where it's not so much that like on a one night stand, the guy would be like, oh, sorry, can't do that.
Right.
But it's more like once you're in a relationship, that man will then slowly sort of pressure the woman to groom herself a certain type of way. And I've definitely heard of that happening to people before. So I thought that was really interesting. Then another just like really sort of satisfying scene was when like he does hook up with somebody for the first time in this altered universe. She gets off and then just like, you know, crashes out on the bed next to him. And meanwhile, he's there like, hey, I haven't finished yet. And she completely just like passes out and is asleep. And he's like, just like totally has blue balls. And I mean, honestly, like what woman has not had that experience at least once in her life, if not many times?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It
was pretty awesome.
I have to check this movie out.
Yeah.
I think that's two solid recommendations. So I will try and check it out by the next time we record.
Yes. What is it called again? So I can link to it in the show notes.
I Am Not an Easy Man, and it's on Netflix. It came out in 2018, so it's very recent.
Okay.
I will link to that in the show notes. Moving on, as we mentioned before, we have an email from Mama G.
Okay, so Mama's email, the Kavanaugh debacle, and what a debacle it is. Hello, broads. I've been MIA from the broadcast from the last few weeks, but hoping to get caught up again.
Girl, we gotta get those downloads up. What are you doing?
Seriously, help us out. Come on. I know this is a very serious subject, but I would be very interested in hearing you discuss this week's developments with the hearings for Brett Kavanaugh for SCOTUS. It has been frustrating and maddening watching this debacle play out. It's brought up some very upsetting memories for me and for many women of my generation. How do you all feel as young women in today's world? Love you all, Mama G.
Aww.
So, yeah.
We also had, before we get into that, Jessica said Kavanaugh, enough said, like to hear your thoughts, and Matt pointed out this is the 1 year anniversary of the Harvey Weinstein story breaking, which I think Republicans tend to forget that it's okay when sexual assault allegations are against a Democrat, but it's ruining somebody's life when it's against a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, somebody that's supposed to be nonpartisan, because that is... There are supposed to be 9 people, if nothing else. If all else fails, there are 9 people in the entire country who are going to be completely impartial and interpret the law as they see it. Not as
party politics.
Not as payback for payback about the Clintons or anything else. Anyway, how I feel about Brett Kavanaugh can be summed up. For me, I'm done in 3 words. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is where it does kind of feel like we're living in, like, 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I got a text from a friend over the weekend saying, thinking of all my sisters this week, not my actual sister, but, like, a friend. Thinking of all my sisters this week, I have your back. And, like, it was such a beautiful text, and, like, I wrote back. But, you know, I would love to know if any of the dudes or any of the doubters are getting messages like that, because like it's a big fucking deal for us. And I think it's, of course, like brought up so many memories, and it really does now feel like deja vu. This is exactly like when the Access Hollywood tapes came out. Like, I mean, I just remember spending hours and hours online because everyone was posting their stories. And then also like when Me Too started, spending so much time online, everyone's posting their stories. And this feels very, very similar in that we're all like being re-traumatized.
Well, I think yes, that and the hashtag Why Report started last week as a direct result of the president saying that, well, if it was so bad, why didn't she report it then? And from what I have gathered, the tone changed once we had that, because then there was outrage again, like, this is why I don't report, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, which you very well know, you know, like all of these people, like they know this, or they're just being like willfully, stupid. But again, so it's just like this like reopening of wounds, and I don't know, like maybe it'll be different this time, but I'm still not holding my breath. Like I think what's going to happen is that he's still going to end up being on the Supreme Court, and that's like really depressing. But I'm trying to think like the long game.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a place with it where it's like I'm finding it very hard to be optimistic because it just
you were an optimist after the election.
I know, and I think because it just feels like we are doomed to repeat the hamster wheel of history. We were all probably too young to really be aware of what was going on with Anita.
Yeah, we were
Hill.
in second grade.
Yeah, like we were too young. So it's like we're now coming at this with that in the rearview mirror, and that is as a history lesson. And yeah, do you hear the thunder?
Yeah, I actually did just hear the thunder.
It's kind of in theme, it's helping me like gear up to my point here.
I love thunder. I've always loved thunder.
Thunder. I find it's really good for punctuation.
Yeah, still love it. Still love thunder.
But yeah, and I think in thinking about it in those terms as a historical event, and thinking about how we are supposed to learn from history or we are doomed to repeat it. And I don't see any of the learning. It seems like, yes, it is different because, yes, we have Me Too. Yes, it is different, unfortunately, because she is a white woman of a privileged background. But it almost feels like we are grinding to this place of even with all of that, it still doesn't matter. And it should matter. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what is really killing me, is that
you're saying it doesn't matter. Her allegation doesn't matter. Like the fact that she's privileged. We still don't believe her. We
still don't believe the young woman, or we don't believe her enough that that's more important than potentially not ruining a man's life.
Right. Oh, it's like we believed her until he opened his mouth.
No, I have a totally
different... We'll still prioritize the white privileged man who supposedly deserves this moment.
See, now, okay, I think that watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, because I think...
I just watched it before we sat down.
Okay, so I think they believe her. I think everyone believes her, except Janine fucking Pirro, because fuck that fucking bitch. I hate her. I think that for the most part, everybody that watched the hearings, without hearing whatever the pundit said, they just straight up watched it. And anybody, that was in that room, I agree with John Oliver. I think that it was the even worse case scenario, which is they all believe her. They all believe that something happened to her and that he was involved, but they just don't care.
Right. And I think that is the point I'm ultimately trying to make, is that even with all of that, we are still going to prioritize the man and what the man gets over how much we believe the woman.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very sobering thing to wrap your brain around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say, like, the willful ignorance of people who don't understand that is also, like, enraging. The people who have started talking about, like, oh, I'm so worried about, like, raising boys in this day and age. Like, their lives could be ruined. Or the people who are like, well, I believe her, but I just think it was somebody else. It wasn't him. Or I believe her, but I just don't really believe Sweatnick. Or,
I believe her, or it wasn't that big of a deal. So she got inappropriately touched in high school. That's what boys do.
It was so long ago that,
it should be that's what boys did, and now it's changed. And, I had this discussion with somebody over the weekend who said that they, aren't you concerned about raising your boys? Somebody could, ruin their life with one accusation. And my response was, I'm not, because I'm going to teach them not to be rapey, and we're going to be okay.
Right. And that's like what gets me the most, and I've said this on Facebook, but what gets me the most about that is that people, they're like focusing in on this 2% chance that you'd be falsely accused, and they're forgetting that boys are also the victims of sexual assault and rape and molestation. Oh. So, like, yeah, you should be worried about raising your kids, whether they be boys or girls, but you should be worried that some coach or some priest or some, person in high school or whatever is actually going to do something terrible to them. there's a much more likely chance of that happening, unfortunately.
But focusing back to Kavanaugh is I have gone through the gamut of all of the different emotions, and I have been back and forth to support another woman who, had to relive her worst nightmare again and again in front of the entire world. Have you seen the picture of somebody took on an airplane, and all of the TVs on the airplane were people that were tuned into the testimony?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
It is chilling because you're like, oh my God, this is something that is so big, because I think what people keep forgetting is that this is an appointment to the highest court in the land. So this is a lifetime appointment. This is people that are somebody that's going to be responsible for creating the law for our country, right? Yes, for generations here, and then new people can come in, I could switch, but at the very least, it's a big deal. You want somebody that's intelligent enough to be impartial, and has the great temperament, and at the very end, even if you think, and there's a couple things. A, I fully believe that he is an abusive drunk, and you guys can say, "Oh, Colleen, you've been drunk on here before. You guys tell stories about being drunk." Something?
It's not the same.
It's not the same, because A, even if this was all true, if I was going for a job interview for the highest court in the land, and I knew, right, I would at least, the very least, go out there and say, I had a problem with drinking when I was a child, when I was younger. I was a horrible person. I treated people poorly, but I am clean. I am sober. I have my anger issues under control, and I have made amends with the women that I work with, where I don't have any complaints. That would have been a good start for whatever. Mm-hmm. However, we didn't go that way. And I feel that when somebody is going to be physically angry over, because you could see it, the raging.
So much white male rage.
Over a question like, have you ever been blackout drunk? To me, that says, yes, you have. You're ashamed of it because you still get blackout drunk.
Exactly.
And you have a problem with alcohol.
To me, that means, I was blackout drunk yesterday.
Which people struggle with alcohol. It is, people struggle with alcohol. I am not placing judgment there, but if you want to be appointed a lifetime position for the biggest job interview of your life, for the literally best job that anybody that is in that profession could ever possibly hope for, then you get your fucking shit together long enough to at least be able to pull it together to pass that fucking interview. But really, ideally, you're not like that because, all the other things that come with it.
Right. Supposedly, there was a whole list.
There was a list.
Whole list, and why we are focusing on this one. I think everything else aside, if that is a job interview, the way he comported himself makes him unqualified for the position.
Yes.
Forget the allegation. Seriously. If you remove everything else, the display is still, for me, that is not someone that I want in the highest court in the land.
No, that's
He's not
professional.
Cool under pressure. He's not bipartisan. In fact, he's quite the opposite. He proved himself to be very in the conservative party's pocket. He played that party line to a T. Mm-hmm. So I think that alone, we shouldn't have to be discussing all these other things.
We shouldn't.
That shut the whole thing down. And I think that might be the thing that infuriates me most of all.
But you know what? Yeah. We go back to, we're interviewing for the fucking president who loves that shit.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Playing to the base.
Yeah. No, it's insane, and it's really disheartening to see that the Republicans are just stepping in line and signing off on that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew that they were devoid of any sort of moral standing, for a long time, but this, I think, really solidified it. And the one thing that I will say to get away from the man himself, who has shown himself to be a pretty despicable piece of shit. It would be fascinating to be able to have a candid conversation with his wife, because she's sitting there thinking about all the times that he's been an asshole drunk at home, because that shit's happened.
Well, as Brian Hewlett said, I think it was Brian or maybe Janet. It was one of the two of them who said it's hard to look at him getting angry while sober and not imagine that he gets a lot angrier when he's drinking.
Totally. So there's that. So there's the man, but then like moving away from the man and just like how the whole thing was covered and how people are talking about it. Like, this is another thing that I can't stop thinking about is like, well, so two things. First, on Thursday and Friday, like, it was very hard to do much of anything else. I had planned on like going running and all of these other activities after work. Tough. I couldn't. I stayed home. I like ate comfort food. I watched The Good Place to like have a palate cleanser. So like, you think about the cost of sexual violence on people and how it's just like, can last so much beyond, for so long. Like, I was incapacitated for a couple of days because of this stupid bullshit. So there's that. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that I couldn't stop thinking about was just the statistics on how many people will be raped, how many people will be, otherwise sexually assaulted in their life. And I was sitting in this meeting last week, and I was just having a very hard time concentrating. So I did a head count, like looked around the room. Yeah. I counted 10 men and 11 women, including myself. And I'm just sitting there running the stats and thinking about how many people in that very room with me have been raped, how many have been molested, how many have been otherwise sexually assaulted. Like, it's fucking crazy. And like, and yet, like, nobody seems to care. And so that's when people are like cavalier about like, well, aren't you afraid of, being a mother to sons, these days, or so cavalier about talking about how they just can't believe Swetnick. I mean, like, maybe they can believe Ford, but just like not some of the other stuff. It's too over the top.
Because they hate Avenatti, and because Avenatti has proven himself to be a formidable opponent who is also a showman. And
yes,
it's
and
funny
who also,
because Donald Trump is a showman, and that's all he's got.
Seriously.
Sorry, Shandy, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, and heaven forbid, like, Avenatti's also represented somebody who, gasp, worked in the adult entertainment industry. So, like, there's that. But it's just, like, it's stuff like that where I would really like to shake people and just be like, just think about the words coming out of your mouth and, like, be a little bit critical maybe before you talk, and just think about because in any setting, any sort of group, there are, tons and tons of people in that group who have definitely dealt with this exact kind of thing. So just like, just like fucking think before you speak.
Right.
Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. I think that we've pretty much covered this. Spoiler alert. If you skipped ahead, TLDR, fuck that guy.
The one thing also that I am like in thinking of the long game in terms of like long as in like our entire lives and beyond. I mean, first of all, there is the fact that at the end of the day, like the earth will eventually cease to exist, regardless of climate change. So there's that. That's like oddly comforting. Second of all, things tend to get worse before they get better.
All right. We have This Week in Andy's Virginity, and then we're going to finish this up with a super cute voicemail from Astrid. So let's get to Andy.
Okay. Hey broads, since I left you hanging 2 weeks ago, oops, and now it's been 3. Sorry, Andy. I'll start with an update about my coffee date with Alice. Going in, I was a bit more nervous than I had been on my other dates. Although it shouldn't be weird to go hang out with a member of the opposite sex as a heterosexual male, I was afraid it would be because of my crush. I'm happy to report it wasn't awkward at all. In fact, it was really nice. We'd arranged to hang out for coffee for about an hour because she had a work thing later in the day. Ultimately, we stuck around 20 minutes longer because we lost track of time talking. It was a lot of typical getting to know you type stuff like our families, jobs, hobbies, but we also delved a little bit deeper. Perhaps that was because we'd hung out at other events over the years and we were comfortable revealing a little more than those awkward first dates I went on. Obviously, we didn't go too deep, like I didn't tell her about my virginity. And she isn't going to tell me everything about her life yet, but we did make some kind of connection. It was purely platonic between the two of us. We didn't even touch each other during the date, and that was fine. I was wondering if she would be okay with a hug or if a handshake would be too formal, so I just left it for her to take my initiative if she felt comfortable. I'm respecting her wishes as she's not in the mood for that kind of relationship right now, and I would like to be her friend regardless of where our friendship winds up. I'm not being one of those quote-unquote nice guys who pretends to be decent all in an attempt to sleep with someone. My feelings for her are still there, but I think they're reasonable. I'm not in love with her by any stretch, and we're taking it slow getting to know each other. It took a little longer than most, but I think I'm finally grasping how to navigate these kinds of relationships. Aww. There's some difficulty there, especially when you're awkward socially, but I think it'll be okay. This part of my story reminds me of that often given an often resented piece of dating advice. You'll find love when you're not looking for it. For a long time, I took that at face value of just not trying and seeing just how far I was willing to believe in some kind of universe idea. But I now know it's a little more nuanced than that. You still have to put yourself out there, but not be so fixated on a specific outcome. A lot of life consists of our expectations rarely meeting with our outcomes, but that doesn't mean our outcome can't still be amazing, perhaps in ways we never considered going in. We'll have to see. I'm texting Alice, and hopefully we can meet up soon when her schedule eases up. She's helping plan her friend's wedding, and her job is pretty demanding. I'll let you know how it goes. As for JP's question about how to split the bill, I've only paid for what I ordered so far, but I haven't been on a lot of dates. I've discussed it with my dates before and decided on separate checks. I forgot to offer to pay for Alice's order because I was nervous, but I usually will offer. Maybe if we meet up like this again, I'll remember to ask. # I'm with hers, Andy. Very cool.
Yeah. I actually now want to know more. I feel like Shandy when she's about to go to sleep after watching Jane the Virgin.
You really want to watch that next episode? Yeah, and I mean this is great. It's just like a new friendship, and then again, like a friendship at its core, like doesn't have ulterior motives. So of course you're not doing it for that, but like because you're expanding your social circle, you could then potentially like meet some of her friends, and who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you're socially awkward, like just the joy of finding someone that you can converse with in a way that makes you feel really comfortable and really safe, it is a victory in and of itself. Like that's awesome. I think it's rare to find someone that you can just have an ease of conversation with. So I think that is really, really great. And I'm so glad that you kids had a good time.
Yeah. I agree with what Amanda said. And I wanted to add that I think the tone of your email was a lot more like hopeful and lighthearted or lighter rather than we are used to hearing. So
Yep. Yeah. I agree. This is the most hopeful. We've seen you, Andy, in quite a few emails, and it does not go unnoticed.
Yes. So keep us posted, please. Let's finish up this very I Love Pie podcast with I don't know. I wanted to make another pie pun because 314, but I can't. So let's finish this up with a voicemail from Des and Astrid because it was a Desiree pie. I don't know. I got nothing.
We were promised Desiree pie.
Hey, Amanda, Colleen, and Shandy. This is Des and Astrid. Hello, she said. I just wanted to tell you, this is so cute. Who's on broadcast? Skylar? No. Who's on broadcast?
Sister.
Colleen. Who else? Amanda. Who else? Shandy. That's right.
Shandy in there?
Is Shandy in there? No. Is Colleen in there?
Yes.
In Mommy's phone? Yes. She knows her broadcast girls.
Hey, Mama.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
That was so cute. Oh, Shandy, she got your name in there real clear.
Oh,
yes, and it's not necessarily easy for a child.
That's so sweet. That's so cute.
Amanda.
Yeah, Manda's hard because it's got that extra syllable to it.
Yeah,
exactly. I think she's at a 2-syllable maximum.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god,
fair. Okay.
that is so cute. I had to. So this past weekend, I was at home and Alex decided, I don't know, that he was an asshole, and he was awake from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., which means I was awake because it was me and him sharing the same room, and it was rough. It was a rough, 5 hours or whatever it was, and he falls asleep at 6, so I fall asleep at 6, and we wake up around 8 o'clock. I literally stumble down to the stairs of my parents' house, and I'm like, take him, he's yours, and then I go back upstairs and pass out from 8 to about 9:30, and I wake up at 9:30 because I hear a noise, and I go, and then all of a sudden I hear baby screaming, and I'm so confused, I'm so disoriented. Turns out my youngest sister, not the mother of my niece, my youngest sister came in to get something from a drawer, shut the drawer. That's what I heard. The drawer. That's what I heard. I've been trying to say drawer, but I can't. That's what I hear. So I wake up and gasp because I don't know what's going on. And they put my niece in the crib next to where Alex had previously been sleeping, and she wakes up from that, and she's flipping a shit. And
oh my god!
So Christy is my youngest sister. She's like, "Peace out," and fucking leaves the room. I am tired, and I guarantee you that Christy slept 8 fucking hours at the most, maybe 7, but still, fuck you. I was awake that whole time. So she leaves, so I pick Evangeline up, and I don't see her super often, so I'm like, please don't freak out that I'm putting you to sleep, and I'm so exhausted. So the only thing I can think of is, I'm like, you are my sunshine, my own, because that was the theme for birthday party. So I'm going off of an educated critical thinking guess that she knows the song. I stop and I have her on my chest and I'm like, oh, please don't freak out. Please don't freak out. And she looks up and she does the sign language for more. She's like, more, hello. So I'm like, okay. So I sing it again. I start texting downstairs. I'm like, Eva's awake. What does she like? Because she's signing for more songs. Nobody gets back to me right away, so I sing that a few times, and I'm like, well, let me go into the Zach Alex repertoire. So I start to sing some of that, which we sing Mary Poppins songs. I sing a couple of songs, Lisa Hannigan songs, who used to sing with Damien Rice, because, they're in my vocal range. So I'm trying to sing some songs, and she eventually can tell that she's she literally rolls her body off of me, right? And then the bed isn't on anything. It's just the box spring and the mattress, so it's not even if a baby fell out of the bed, they would be fine because it's maybe 6 inches off the ground. So she, gets off the bed, stands up and goes to me, bye, and then makes an attempt to walk towards the door. She was like, yeah, you're boring me. That was essentially, she was like, yeah, your songs suck now. I'm done with you. And I'm like, yeah. But I don't want to get up yet. But I was so tickled by how hysterical it was. She was just like, bye.
You're basically.
Yeah, basically. So as I texted Jay, I was like, so I just spent the last 12 hours of my life unsuccessfully putting babies to sleep.
Well, just wasn't your day.
It was definitely not.
Kid, you'll get them next time.
That is very cute, though.
It was really cute, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, I can't believe we made it through all of that. And we only went 29 minutes over what we wanted to do. No, 19 minutes over what we wanted to go. So that's okay, because we are not recording next week. So you guys have all the time in the world to listen to this. Yep. Or maybe I'm going to break it up. I don't know. If you're hearing this, you might not know. Just in case I do, why don't you guys just redo your intro for me right now? Hello and welcome to the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name's Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
And welcome to the show, everybody. Okay, there's a little behind the scenes for you guys. Yeah. For you folks.
3.15. It's the 3rd of October. The moon is in the 7th house. And this time last year, I ate a particularly delicious sandwich.
Yeah. And Mercury is in retrograde.
And I remembered that because it was a Thursday. And Thursday is obviously roast beef day at the cafeteria.
That's what she said.
Yes.
But you know what? I love roast beef. I loved it last year. I love it now. I still love roast beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she said.
What she said. Can we call this episode I Still Love Pie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to re-ask you guys to give you the chance to change your mind.
No. That will always,
No.
yes, will always be my answer.
Okay.
We
I
will
still
always
love pie.
I will always love pie. I will never not love pie.
Fantastic.
Except for if it's like some of the savory pies, the meat thing.
Oh, man. Okay, the meat thing for you. That's
I wasn't supposed to put beef in the trifle.
Layer of jam, and a layer of lady fingers.
Yeah, jam good. Meat good. Which we also say frequently while we're watching Great British Bake Off.
Oh, have you gotten to the Italian episode yet?
Yeah. We did that. We're on like 2 seasons past that now.
Did it offend you?
It amused me.
I loved the fact that the technical challenge. Okay,
Was it cannoli and they didn't know what it was?
Oh, I thought the technical challenge was the pizza.
Oh, was that the pizza? Because I know they didn't know what a cannoli was.
Cannoli was the
showstopper.
No, the signature.
Signature. Okay.
It was a signature. The technical challenge was pizza. You would think this is like a walk in the park. These damn Brits couldn't make pizza.
Well, I've tried to eat pizza in London. I will definitely second that.
It was weird and charming and the most confusing half hour of television.
It was awesome. It really was. It really is a fun show. Can't recommend it enough. After you do Jane the Virgin and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Go back and do the early seasons, though, with Mary Berry.
We're on those. We're on...
Okay, nice.
We are on the one with the student with the curly hair who is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, Ruby.
Ruby, yes. We're on that one.
I can't do anything. Oh, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. How am I not getting voted off this year?
Yeah, sure.
And then it's like amazing and it's beautiful and it's perfect. She's like, oh, God. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then it's like perfect.
Yeah, I love her. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, I love her.
A little bit of housekeeping. I love her. I've always loved her. I still love her. Just saying. A little bit of housekeeping. Thank you to the patrons. As always, you guys make this show possible. A special thank you to Ed the Creepy Mailman / Skidmark Detective, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, Eckhart, and Tack from Tokyo. Thank you guys so very much. Like, as always, if you'd like to be on Patreon, you go to patreon.com/Jay and Jack. The thank you guys, though, we really do appreciate. Yeah, like every week, we're just very grateful that anybody wants to do that at all. So thank you. If you'd like to shop through the Amazon affiliates link, you do so at jayandjack.com/Amazon. That helps us too. If you can't be a patron, if you just buy like one thing on Amazon, that's just the same. It's just as good. And then as far as merchandise goes, if you want to get one of your Team Science Team Universe mugs, you can go to jayandjack.com/store and do that way. Oh, happy October, everybody. We're in October, which means October 1st was the podcasting anniversary for Jay and Jack. This is their, I believe it's 13th year podcasting.
Oh my God. That's hats off, gentlemen. Yep. Congratulations.
Is it 13 or is it 12? It was October 1st, 2005. So 13 years. So
either way, it's a hell of a lot longer than anybody else.
Yeah. So we now
it's
have...
longer than I've known what a podcast was.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we have petulant teens that are running this network. They're 13 years podcasting. Never too early or too late to teach them about consent. So everything you guys do now as a podcast and as a podcast network is going to be judged in your job interview someday. Just saying.
Yep.
No, happy anniversary, everybody. Guys, happy anniversary to whatever. Yay, 13 years, so great. All right. Does anybody else have anything?
Nope.
All right, cool. Let us know any feedback you have, broadcasters3@gmail.com, 331-276-2373. Yeah. I think that's it. If you like what we do, give us a review. Go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. We would love that, too. We always like to hear what people have to say. On that note, my name's Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.